Woods Hill Farm, LLC holds a rich history passed on through generations of progressive dairy farmers in New York. Ted Seaver, born in 1925, grew up a curious boy. Around the age of 9, he started to wander towards a neighbor's farm to ride their horses. Those neighbors, the Reeds, ran a 33 milking cow operation, and as Ted started coming around, they started letting him drive an old tractor around the farm. Quickly, Ted became more invested in the farm and began shoveling manure for them. When he was 11, they asked Ted to stay at the farm and help with chores. As an adult, Ted was called off by the Army, but when he came back, Ted was offered to run the Reed's dairy farm for $55 per week. When he was 22 years old, the Reeds sold the operation to Ted and his wife for $30,000. That sale included 134 acres, 60 cows, 4 heifers, a team of horses, and 2 old tractors, along with an old, unhandy barn and a farmhouse. Ted started buying more land from neighboring farms and ultimately needed help running things. Along came Mike Brannigan in 1989. Mike, a non-farm boy, was welcomed by Ted with open arms, who almost immediately started showing him all he knew about dairy farming and treating him as if he was his own son. Fast forward to 2008, when Ted officially took on Mike as a partner in Woods Hill Farm and the succession planning began. Around the same time, Mike's wife, Emily, also started getting involved on the farm. Not coming from a farming background either, Emily was a quick learner and eventually took over all duties related to caring for and raising the calves. With Ted's guidance, both Mike and Emily learned all the ins and outs of dairy farming and owning and operating their own farm. In 2015, Ted passed away. Ted was a humble and modest man, wholeheartedly dedicated to being a dairy farmer. A man of few words. When he spoke, you listened. And one thing Mike and Emily said about Ted is, if you met Ted, you would never know what he built from what little he came from. With his passing, the Brannigans wondered how they would ever carry on the legend that Ted started. Despite the circumstances, Woods Hill Farm was left in the Brannigans' hands, and many wondered if they were equipped to take on the challenge. In fact, the day of Ted's funeral, some commented that Mike and Emily had big shoes to fill. But one friend heard all this and gave a little encouragement that has had a long-lasting impression. They might have big shoes to fill, but Mike's already got the boots on. He just needs to tie them up. And on that note, the Brannigans knew that they had to continue dairy farming. Mike and Emily laced up their boots and jumped in feet first to carry on Ted's legacy. When it comes down to the day-to-day work, Mike enjoys driving tractor and getting the field work done in a timely manner. Like any other dairy farmer, Mike oversees all cows, crops, employees, and all operation practices. As a dairy woman, Emily spends her time with the calves, perfecting every process in the calf barn. In between feedings, decision-making, and health monitoring, she also keeps the business side running successfully, making sure bills are paid, payroll gets out on time, and monitoring herd performance. Their son, Corey, is 19 years old and also part owner in the farm. He already plays an active role on the farm and plans to learn more about running and operating the farm to eventually take it over from his parents. The Woods Hill team has very clear goals, and everything they do comes back to their main philosophy: to ship high-quality milk from healthy and efficient cows 365 days a year. They want to reach maximum components without sacrificing total pounds of milk produced. They keep standard operating procedures strict in order to keep things clean and efficient. Along with efficiency, they strive to build healthy cows that maximize feed-to-milk ratio. This dedication has paid off for the Brannigans, making the farm more successful and profitable when most dairy farmers have been struggling. Woods Hill now consists of 770 milking cows, milked in a double 16 parallel parlor 3 times a day. The Brannigans are very proud of their milk quality progress over the years. Knowing that Ted's main focus was to produce premium milk, they often ponder what it would be like if he could see the improvements they've made over the years. The Brannigans wouldn't have all this success if they did it alone. They have a team of 16 employees that work day in and day out to fulfill all the needs of the farm. The employees are a huge factor in keeping the farm progressing and moving in the right direction. With great employees comes great outcomes. The Brannigan family is proud to have won the annual Super Milk Award several times, an award based on shipping high-quality milk. Along with having an operation to be proud of, Mike and Emily also enjoy hosting tours for a variety of different groups. The Brannigans understand the disconnect between consumers and producers, and one of their goals is to bridge that gap. As if dairy farming doesn't keep the Brannigans busy enough, they also own a hobby farm. They raise chickens, donkeys, and crossbred Angus. They strategically breed with Angus on some of their Holsteins to get a bigger return on investment versus selling off Holstein steers. In addition to farming, the Brannigans have carried on another vision that Ted had, running a small maple syrup business. For many years, Mike and Ted spent what free time they had in the woods of their property, eventually installing a reverse osmosis maple syrup operation in 2016. Just this last year, Mike produced a whopping 750 gallons of maple syrup, and they have plans to double output in the coming year. Clearly, the Brannigans have done something right. They run a very successful dairy operation and have many other rewarding projects underway. But what really brings them back to dairy farming is the love for what they do. Mike and Emily were left with a farm that has deep roots, and they're committed to carrying on the tradition. They forever have Ted's beliefs instilled in them, and every day lace up their boots to keep that vision a reality. Every dairy producer knows that day one of life is crucial to building a healthy and profitable herd. A successful dairy operation starts in the maternity pen. And this is why the calves at Woods Hill Farm are born with strict protocols to ensure the health of the calves. When calves are born, their navel is sprayed with a mixture of alcohol and chlorhexidine, and they are removed from their mother. Each calf is fed a gallon of colostrum within 1 hour of birth, given a shot of multimin, and tagged for identification. An evaluation of each calf occurs when they are 1 week old. If the calf is vigorous, groups of 5 calves are transferred to the calf barn, where they're under the gentle care of Emily Brannigan. Every morning and night, Emily laces up her boots and heads down to the calf barn to mix a nutritional milk replacer for the calves. Each calf is fed 3 gallons per day of 14% solids milk replacer. At 2 weeks old, they genomically test their calves. Their genetic consultant, Tim Fargo, comes to the farm regularly to help take samples and run them through CRV's Herd Optimizer program. Once samples are taken and results arrive, the team analyzes the data on each calf to make decisions on what calves to keep. The Brannigans view it as a report card on each calf, determining the outcome of the calf before it happens. Most farmers know how frustrating it can be to raise a calf, and after 2 years of investing in the heifer, realize that she's not a right fit for the herd or not the genetics they want to pass down for generations. For Woods Hill, they don't have to wait. Not only does this save time, but also money on feed, vet bills, and other expenses. Using Herd Optimizer, they determine what calves to keep, which to sell, and what cows are in the lowest 25% of the herd so they can breed them to Angus. Several years ago, the Brannigans found themselves often struggling with sick calves. But with changing some protocols and using right genetics, their calves are lively and active and hardly have any issues. In fact, Emily loves to talk about this progress. She'll tell you how dramatically different her job is now. The calves are healthy and strong, full of energy, and exactly what they're breeding for. With Herd Optimizer, they've also learned a lot about the genetic progress of some of their cow families. In fact, the Brannigans recently discovered some elite animals in their herd and a heifer with an industry-leading NVI score. With genomic testing, they can determine which animals are best to use for flushing and which to use as recipients. When things are progressing well with the calves, they're cut back on milk, usually at about 5 weeks of age. Then, they're fully weaned and stay with that same group until they're 8 weeks old, ensuring they stay stress-free and experience an easy transition. At that time, calves are moved into groups of 30 head, and here they're fed hay and grain, and eventually transition to TMR that is top-dressed with grain. During the 8 to 12-month age period, they're fed just TMR in the freestall. At about 12 to 13 months of age, the heifers are moved to the breeding barn. Heifers are typically bred at 13 months. The individual results of each animal are paired with a mating program based off the heifer's genomic test, and the AI technician uses the mating information to breed the heifers with the right sire. From the newborn calves all the way to breeding age heifers, the Brannigans monitor their growth and progression closely. With smart farm management and genetics, they have heifers that calve easier, are more efficient, make healthier calves, and make quality milk. All outcomes worth putting the farm boots on every morning for. The Brannigans know that profitability starts at each newborn calf, but they also know where their milk check comes from, and that's from making high-quality milk. At Woods Hill Farm, they have 17 groups in their free stalls, and those cows are grouped by production and days in lactation. The fresh pen is a group of 60 cows, allowing them to transition nice into their lactation. The other 5 groups are stocked with 120 cows to maximize free stall space without sacrificing cow health. Every day, Mike and Emily lace up their boots and face the day head-on. They know the key to producing milk is making sure their cows are well cared for. They closely and carefully manage their cow pens and use sand bedding to ensure the cows are comfortable. The happier and more comfortable the cow is, the better production she will have. They also know that feeding practices are also a large factor in producing quality milk. They feed TMR twice a day. That includes corn, haylage, hay, and dry feed. They push up feed 5 to 6 times a day, knowing that the cow will eat more to produce premium milk. As the farm has grown from 33 cows to 1,300 animals, it's become difficult to manage cows on an individual basis. No matter how many boots on the ground, it's difficult to monitor and catch everything. To help with that, and to remain as efficient as possible, Woods Hill recently installed a cow monitoring system to track every single cow's actions and patterns. The activity monitoring system they installed is Ovalert, a product sold by CRV. Ovalert sends heat behavior, health signals, and specific information on eating time, rumination, inactivity, and so much more to the herd manager. It allows the herd manager and the Brannigans to keep a close eye on each animal individually, and has resulted in catching health issues sooner and improving fertility results, ultimately saving Woods Hill from unnecessary treatment costs. As the data shows in Ovalert, cows love schedules. So it's no surprise that Woods Hill keeps their cows stress-free when it's time for milking. The double 16 parallel parlor is quite the sight to see. The employees take great pride in making sure it's scrubbed down and spotless when not in use between the 3 milkings a day. And even when the parlor is in full milking mode, the workers understand the goals on the farm and work hard to keep it in prime condition. Not only are their team members thinking about the next steps, so are Mike and Emily. When they built this parlor, they planned for the future, allowing for expansion. They strive to produce a great amount of milk, but even more so, producing a great amount of components. They understand what comes on their paycheck, and they have found how to increase that number. Mike and Emily say it's not about producing more milk, it's about producing better milk. This dedication and their focus on producing high-quality milk has truly paid off. Since incorporating CRV genetics into their herd, the Brannigans have seen a tremendous increase in the pounds of fat and protein they ship every month. They've gone from producing nearly 44,000 pounds of fat and almost 36,000 pounds of protein per month to just under 64,000 and over 50,000 respectively. They truly increased components without sacrificing milk, and their milk checks have shown it. Part of Mike and Emily's success comes from their value of partnerships with vendors. Their CRV genetic consultant, Tim, understands their goals about increasing solids in their milk and breeding for a healthy, long-lasting, efficient, and easy-to-manage herd. With the help of Tim and CRV, Woods Hill has brought a side of cattle genetics to their farm they hadn't seen before. One of the most significant genetic differences is in their use of Dutch Holsteins to more efficiently accomplish their goals of producing premium milk and becoming more profitable. Knowledgeable farmers like the Brannigans know that all the attention and focus isn't just on the milking cows, but that the dry cows deserve and require some extra attention too. Managing dry and transition cows play a huge role in their upcoming lactation and ultimately on the production and profitability of the farm. Once a cow goes dry, cows are kept on farm in the dry cow barn, where their diet is closely overseen. Their ration consists of corn, haylage, mineral, and hay to maintain desired body condition. Fast forward through most of her dry period to a few weeks before calving. The cows are moved into the close-up pen so that the Woods Hill team can more closely watch each cow and observe behaviors to ensure everything will go well during calving and for her upcoming lactation. The transition cow diet is very important when considering fresh cow diseases. Therefore, the transition cows are fed corn, straw, and minerals that are closely monitored. Once it's apparent that the cow will be calving, she'll be moved into a grouped maternity pen. When the cow moves into the pen, she's in a relaxed environment with very little stress. Her temporary home is equipped with clean, dry straw bedding with plenty of access to water and feed. In the calving area, each cow is watched carefully, checked every hour. With such close management, cows have a positive birthing experience. The employees at Woods Hill monitor the cows closely to ensure their health for the next lactation. It's because of their strict protocols and their close monitoring that the Brannigans have some of the healthiest cows and lowest occurrences of fresh cow diseases. As you can see, it's all about taking good care of the cows, making sure you have the right team members on board who believe in the same philosophies, and ensuring the cows are comfortable and content so they keep calving and milking year after year. The Brannigans have a lot of cows, and aside from raising healthy calves and making sure the cows stay healthy and comfortable, there's a lot of other things to manage on the farm. They understand that genetics play a big role in progress, but without the right nutrition, the genetics cannot perform optimally. So, at Woods Hill, they produce high-quality corn silage, haylage, and hay that they use for their herd. Additionally, they purchase additional acres of corn silage to meet nutrition requirements for each cow. Here in Turin, New York, they don't have a problem getting crops done. Mike runs the show and knows how to get the 1,500 acres of crops done and done right. He credits his expertise to learning from the best over the years. Along with crop management, Mike also plans carefully with managing the farm's manure. Not only does he monitor the weather closely before, during, and after they spread, he enlists the help of McClelland Agronomic Services to run soil samples regularly so they can make informed decisions on when and how much manure to put on the fields. And because they keep such a tightly managed spreading program, they never have issues with their neighbors complaining. Mike, Emily, and Corey work together as a team, reflecting on the past, focusing on the present, all while looking ahead to the future. They know how to be sustainable, how to keep their cows healthy and happy, how to maximize their milk check, and what it will take to farm in the future. When looking ahead, they see a possibility of expansion, but are planning carefully and making sure decisions will work for the long term. The magic behind Woods Hill really began when Ted was a young boy helping the Reeds. But the magic continues today because of all the hard work the Brannigans have put in over the years. Ted had a vision, built a farm, and put trust in Mike and Emily to take the operation to the next level. He believed in them. And so every morning, Mike and Emily put on their boots, lace them up tight, and in the process, make Ted, their friends, their family, and the industry very proud.